Hi dears, now we are into a new topic which is called Law of Torts, T-O-R-T-S. What is this? I will tell you a basic thing that we need to know from law. Whenever there is going to be a liability or whenever there is going to be a wrong, they will categorize into two. One is called civil wrong, another is called criminal wrong. One is called civil liability, another is called criminal liability. The moment when we say civil, one part of the code or act will form, like civil procedure code of civil procedure 1908, law of tort, like that it will come. When you say criminal liability, one will be code of criminal procedure 1973 or Indian penal code 1860. I will again repeat, civil law of tort will come, civil procedure code 1908 will come. I will tell you why we should remember this, so I will again repeat. Civil law of tort will come, code of civil procedure 1908 will come. When it is criminal, code of criminal procedure 1973 will be there, Indian penal code 1860 will be there. Now why I am telling this, because you have a flow of the same thing that I am talking about will be there in company law when you study CS executive, and the law of tort, civil procedure, criminal procedure, Indian penal code, or the four you will study in jurisprudence. First paper, jurisprudence interpretation and general law. We call it as JIG law. JIG. In JIG paper, we will study about this. The same tort we are going to study in explanation in a detailed way. Not much is there, but still you will have to prepare the notes. You will have to do it descriptive. Here it is MCQ only, right? So there it is descriptive. So descriptive level we are not going to study now. MCQ level only we will study. Remaining things we can cover it in our CS executive. Yes, you should understand one thing. Whichever topic I am connecting it to the next level. It may be like CS executive or CS professional, because that's what professionals are all about, right? You should not see like, okay, this chapter, now I am going to cover this chapter, end of it, forget this. No, I don't think this will work out. You need to have a connection between the next levels, because we are all professionals, right? We are not studying a BCom or we are not studying a UG. We are taking up a professional exam. Yes. Now, shall we go inside and see what is going to be there? Yes. I have already colored the keywords. If there is a requirement, I will also do the highlighting points. Tort means what? Tort is derived from a word tortum. Derived from a word tortum, which means it is civil wrong, opposed to criminal wrong. It is not criminal wrong. It is civil wrong. What wrong? Civil wrong. Are we clear with this? First point is clear? Yes. Next, tort, what they say is, every wrongful act is not a tort, because it can be a civil wrong or a criminal wrong. But only when you talk about civil wrong, it is called tort. Are we clear? So second point is also done. So I'll make a simple color for this so that it's easy to be done. Yes. Same color we'll do. Once we finish this, we will color that and make it strong. Yes. Okay. Give me a minute. I'll expand this. I hope this should be even more clear. Yes. Next, definitions for tort. There are some 3-4 definitions that are there. Limitation Act 1963. What is this Limitation Act? Within what time you should complete, how you should do, and all they will say. The beauty is Limitation Act also you will study in jurisprudence paper, CS executive. Okay, connect this and keep. Section 2M of Limitation Act, what it says, tort means a civil wrong which is not exclusively a breach of contract or breach of trust. Breach means what? Breach means non-fulfillment of obligation. Today I said I will take the class, but I am not taking. It is called breach. I have not fulfilled my obligation. So this we will have to remember, connecting your Indian Contract Act. Remember where I am connecting and all. You can also write it and keep. The moment when I say you can write it and keep and take notes, so it is easy. What is that they are saying? It is not a breach of contract or breach of trust. So the keyword you will have to remember is not the breach. You should know, if they ask, is that a breach? You should say no. Two important elements are there for a tort. What are they? That a tort is a species of civil injury of wrong as opposed to criminal wrong. We already told this. And every civil wrong is not a tort. Yes, the point that they are saying is every civil wrong is not a tort. tort is even more smaller, and you should say tort is a civil wrong. Every civil wrong is not a tort. Criminal wrong, it will never come inside the picture. Okay, dears, first understand this. Criminal wrong will never come into this picture. Every tort is a civil wrong. Every civil wrong is not a tort. So shall I underline, shall I mark this in red color? Are we clear with this? Yes, maybe I'll make it bold. So you should be clear now. This now, three definitions we will try to take. Okay, these three definitions will be saying the same thing again and again. We will use a different color and study so that it becomes attractive. Salmon, what is this fellow saying about it? He says it is a civil wrong. See, same thing they will say. Civil wrong for which the remedy is a common law action for unliquidated damages. Damages you will have to pay. If somebody does a wrong, you will have to get damages from them, and which is not exclusively a breach of contract or breach of trust. You have already told this, correct? Fraser, infringement of right in rem. Right in rem means property. Personam means person. Okay, infringement means that the activity is not completed because of a problem. Infringement, that means not completion. Infringement of a right in rem. Right in rem, you should remember this, right in rem. So I will mark this also. Infringement of a right in rem is how you will have to study this. Of a private injury, giving a right of compensation at the suit of injured party. If I'm an injured party, if you have not completed, because of that there is a civil wrong happening, pay me compensation or damages. As simple as that. Yes. Winfield, what they are saying, tortious liability arises from breach of duty primarily fixed by law. This duty is toward persons generally, and its breach it is redressable by an action for unliquidated damages. Read Salmond, Winfield will get covered. Don't separately sit and study. Okay. Read Salmond, Winfield will be over. Are we clear? Now we are not bothered about all this. You should know, understand 2-3 things. Shall I sum up all these things what we have told? Civil wrong. Tort is a civil wrong. Every civil wrong is not a tort. Unliquidated damages, that means unliquidated means you should not break the damages. You should be very clear for that particular wrong activity, you should pay damages. Unliquidated damages, infringement of right. It is not a breach of contract, it is not a breach of trust. Make it very clear. Okay, here itself I will underline this because 2-3 times the same thing comes here. Yes, so make this really strong. Yes, now let's go into this. For a tort, what are the 3 conditions that they should satisfy to say that it is a tort? What are the 3 conditions for the liability of tort? I have already marked in green color because it's important. What are they? A wrongful act or omission. Guys, I will mark this in green color. They will ask this in the MCQ. Everything is MCQ only, but still they will ask you which of these are not the conditions for tort. Which of these are the conditions for tort? Like that and all, they will ask you. Odd men out, find out the odd men out. Like that and all, they will ask you. What are the 3 things? You can write it and keep. I have already colored the keywords also. A wrongful act or omission, number 1, point number 1. That means there should be a wrong act or omission. Omission, because then only civil wrong will happen. Second, that wrongful act should create a legal damage. Third point, that wrongful act will give rise to legal remedy. So 3 points to be remembered. A wrongful act, that act will be causing a legal damage, and it will also give rise to legal remedy. So how you should remember? See what I am writing. WLL. What is WLL? Wrongful act, legal damage, and legal remedy. Easy to remember? Yes. Wrongful act. Any act which is wrongful, whether it leads to violation or not, whether it is non-compliance or not, you did something wrong. Okay, so it may be, yes. Legal damages. It is understood by 2 doctrines. I will color this in green color. What are they? Damnum sine injuria. Injuria sine damno. You should remember this. These are the maxims or jargons that we call. This is for the legal damage. Whether it is injury without damage or damage without injury. Because the damage happened, whether injury happened, that only we should try to find out. Are we clear till this? Legal damages. See, 1, 2, 3, I have already given here. One is a what? Wrongful act. There is not much inside that. Legal damages is what? It is determined by two doctrines. What are they? Damnum sine injuria, injuria sine damno. Again, these concepts we told you, right? Tort itself will be studied in the CS executive. So this also will be covering that. Are we clear? Damnum means what? Harm, loss, or damage in respect of what? Money, comfort, health. It can be anything. It can be money related or health related or comfort related. This is called damnum. Injuria means what? Injury, infringement of right. That means it's been affected because the completion is not done. It is been affected. That's what. So damnum and injuria, I am using a different color. This should be okay. Yes, this should be okay. I'll use the yellow color. It's been a long time. Yes. Damnum injuria, we have told. Yes. So now all this damnum injuria, all this I'll put it in yellow color itself so that it's going to be almost the same. Damnum sine injuria means what? Simply, I will tell you. Damage without injury. Damage without injury. Damnum means damage. Without means sine. Injuria means injury. It is not a tort. It is not a problem. Because injury is not happening, damage only has happened. Here, for that, they would have told a story here. Man who suffered damage, no action in tort. All this and all, you can just glance through and keep it. It is not going to be very important for you, but you should understand the example relating to it. See the example that I'm telling. What is the example I'm saying? Me opening another shop opposite to my competitor. See, I am not creating an injury, but I'm creating a damage. Same shop opposite to him, I am opening something. Now, can he file a case against me? He cannot sue me as I'm exercising my legal rights. I am not disturbing him. I wanted to sell, so I am going to sell this. So that is not going to be a bigger thing to be understood. So it is not a point to be remembered. What is that they are saying? He cannot sue me. Are we clear with the example? Enough with the example. Yes, because you don't need to sit and study all that. Understand damage without injury is not a tort, and he cannot sue me with that example. Next, injuria sine damno. That means what? Injury without damage. Injury is happening. Damage is not happening. Injury is there. So that means then it becomes a tort. Are we clear with this? Are we clear? You don't need to bother about this meaning. We'll go directly to the concept and say legal remedy. What is this legal remedy? They will say there should be a remedy. Civil wrong one fellow did. Will he not give you damages? That is called a legal remedy. That means what? This means to constitute a tort, the wrongful act must come under the law. That's called it will that only will come under law of tort. The main remedy for a tort is an action for what damages? Unliquidated damages. We have already told this 2-3 times. Yes. So you can easily try to claim damages. Enough. You don't need to study beyond this. Legal remedy is what? You can claim damages. Simple, I will write unliquidated damages. You don't need to study everything. I have taken it from the act and the material. What is important? This is enough. Unliquidated damages. Next, mens rea. I am going to color this in green color because it's an important maxim. Mens rea means what? Guilty mind. Are we clear? Guilty mind is how you will remember. Guilty mind. What is the maxim? They says actus non facit rem nisi mensit rea. That means what? I told mens rea means guilty mind. What is this maximum? Don't you think they will ask you this in the exam? Yes. They will give that maxim and they will say what is the answer for this. The answer is the act itself creates no guilt in the absence of guilty mind. That means if you are guilty, you will be punished. That's what they are saying. Are we clear? Now, the next one you should understand is, I will take this and then in the next video, I will explain this and complete this chapter. What is this we are talking about? Three kinds of. So what is that they are saying? We are saying three kind of tortious liability. You should understand only this initially to start with. What is this three kind of tortious liability? They will ask you this in the exam. So I am marking it in green color. Strict or absolute liability, vicarious liability of the state. Of the state means what they will say, what is the position in England? In England, how they will manage this, and in India, how will they manage this? That's what they will say, nothing more than that. Absolute or strict liability means how importantly they will find out the mistake. Yes, vicarious liability means what I will tell you in the next level. First, we will understand strict liability. You should be punished if there is a wrong activity. Second is vicarious liability. Third is vicarious liability of the state. This vicarious liability only is called tortious liability. That means a liability which creates a civil wrong. Are we clear? First, prepare a chart, divide it into three, write three kinds of tortious liability: strict liability, vicarious liability of the state. Please divide that into three. Under strict or absolute liability, write 3 points. Number one, three categories. Inside that first point, three categories. Then there is a case law called Ryland versus Fletcher case. And then there are some 6 exceptions to the above case. What is the above case? Ryland versus Fletcher. They will ask you this, guys. Strict absolute liability, what case law? They will ask you. What is the answer? Ryland versus Fletcher. So all these three things you should try to remember. It is from what liability? Strict or absolute liability. Are we clear? So I have told this. First, we will write the points alone. Then I will explain. Three categories. See, this is three liabilities. See, I will write here 3 points. Why I am writing 3 points here? Strict or absolute liability has 3 points here. Correct? I will write here 3 points. So you will understand what is that 3 points. Yes. In the 3 points, in that first one, there are 3 categories. So what I am writing in 3 points, the first point has 3 categories so that you don't get confused. Are we clear? The second one is called case law. What case law? Ryland versus Fletcher. What is the third point? 6 exceptions. So now I am talking about what? I am talking about the liability. So the 6 exceptions to that case law. So you can try to remember that. 6 exceptions to that case law. So are we clear with this? So strict or absolute liability has 3 points. First one is categories. Second is case law. Third is exceptions to case law. Second, tortious liability is vicarious liability. Third is vicarious liability of the state for the England and India. Are we clear? Are we clear till this? Then we will go and see what are the 3 categories. Ryland versus Fletcher case and the exceptions to that. And the exceptions to it is the liability, and then vicarious liability of the state, position in England, position in India. Then we will go and cover the damages. Yes, this is our flow for us to understand. So as of now, we would have done. So in the next video, I will quickly glance through what we have already done, and then we can cover the remaining tort portion in the next video. Are we clear? Yes. So what we should see? We should see the law of tort, and which is going to make our job really stronger when it comes to law of tort. Have a great day, dears.